You make it. Because time isn't found under the couch. It isn't sitting in your inbox. It's not waiting for you at the end of the day. Time is created by those who value it, and stolen by those who waste it. See, average minds are always reacting. They move when things come up. They respond to pressure. They answer to distraction. Their day gets hijacked before it even begins. But elite minds are proactive. They decide what the day will look like before the day decides for them. Every hour is claimed. Every hour is claimed. Every task is owned. The 1% treat time like a weapon. They use it to cut through noise. They don't spend hours scrolling, second-guessing, or stalling. They move with precision. Why? Because they know every minute is an investment. And anything that doesn't bring return, it gets cut ruthlessly. No apologies. They don't say it didn't have time. They say it wasn't a priority. That's the language shift. Because the truth is, we all have 24 hours, but only the elite control there. The rest, they get controlled by distractions disguised as obligations. They let other people's agendas become their calendar. The elite never let someone else write the schedule for their life. Ask yourself, how many minutes are stolen from you every day? How many hours do you give away to things that don't matter? Netflix, gossip, complaining, checking your phone for the 5th time in 10 minutes. You think it's small, but it adds up. And the 1%, they know the math. They know 10 minutes a day wasted is over 60 hours a year. That's almost 3 full days of your life. Gone, for nothing. They live by one simple rule: if it's not building me, it's breaking me. Every minute has a mission. Every morning starts with intention. You don't get time back, so the elite treat it like gold, like oxygen. Because time is the only thing you can't buy, can't borrow, and can't rewind. That's why they plan. That's why they protect their mornings. That's why they say no more than they say yes. Because saying yes to everything is saying no to yourself. And they refuse to live reactive. The 1% design their lives with clarity, with order, with purpose. They don't let life happen to them. They happen to life. They happen to life. So while others wait for when they have time, the elite are making moves. They're building, learning, creating, while the rest are just surviving. Because they understand one unshakable truth. Time isn't the problem. Priorities are. And when you fix your priorities, you stop running out of time and start running your time like a machine. The average man runs from discomfort, like it's the plague. The 1%, they chase it like it's treasure. Because discomfort isn't punishment. It's proof. Proof that you're stretching. Proof that you're alive and fighting for something more than a soft life and a warm bed. See, people want growth, but they reject pain. They want elevation, but they avoid the grind. But you can't have one without the other. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. You think you're protecting yourself by staying safe, by playing small, by avoiding the fire, but you're actually starving your potential. The elite don't train for easy. They train for pressure. They wake up early, not because it feels good, but because it feels hard. They lean into the reps, the silence, the sweat, the struggle, because they know hard is where the gold is. Everything worth having lives on the other side of hard. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your invitation. It's the door between who you are and who you could be. And most people never walk through it. They touch the handle, feel the heat, and back off. But the elite, they walk straight in and build their home in the heat. They live there. Because once you become comfortable being uncomfortable, you become unstoppable. You think success is a mountaintop. No, success is a furnace. It burns away your weakness. It exposes your excuses. It tests your willpower. The elite welcome that burn. They don't flinch because they're not after convenience. They're after capacity. They're not chasing comfort. They're building character. Pain is the tuition for mastery. It's the toll you pay to cross into the next level. Most people see the pain and turn around. But the 1%, they nod and say, let's go, because they know the more pressure I endure, the more power I build. Discomfort is the training ground of the uncommon. So while the world runs toward ease, they run toward adversity. While others cry when it hurts, they rise. Because pain doesn't scare them. Staying the same does. They fear regret more than they fear resistance. And that fear becomes fuel. That edge becomes armor. You want to be elite? Get used to being uncomfortable. Make discomfort your ally, not your enemy. Because once you stop fearing the hard things, you'll start doing the impossible. And that's the moment the world stops recognizing you and starts respecting you. There's a massive difference between being interested in success and being obsessed with it. Interest is soft. Interest is casual. Interest says, it would be nice if I could. Obsession says, I must. There is no other option. That's what separates the top 1% from everyone else. They don't want it, they crave it. You can't flirt with greatness. You can't kind of want it. The game doesn't reward lukewarm. This world is built to break the half-committed. Because when the pressure hits, and it will, interest collapses. But obsession locks in. It doesn't back down. It doesn't take days off. It doesn't look for balance. It looks for breakthrough. The elite don't dabble. They don't to try. They do. And they do it with tunnel vision. While average people are worried about opinions, distractions, and social validation, the 1% are locked into their purpose like their life depends on it. Because to them, it does. Obsession makes you different. It makes you dangerous. People will call it crazy. They'll say you're too focused, too intense, too driven. Let them talk. While they're watching Netflix, you're studying the craft. While they're out there. While they're out relaxing, you're building your future. Obsession makes you uncommon. It makes you unshakable. And in a world full of distractions, that's a superpower. Interest gives you excuses. Obsession gives you execution. Interest fades when it's hard. Obsession thrives in hard. It feeds on the challenge. And when you're obsessed, you're not counting the hours, you're losing track of them. You're not asking, when will this get easier? You're asking, how much more can I take? You think champions are lucky? No, they're obsessed. They rehearse, they refine, they repeat, over and over again. When no one's watching, when the lights are off, when the rewards aren't there. That's where obsession lives, in the silence, in the shadows. That's where greatness is forged. See, the 1% don't just show up, they take over. Because they're not motivated by money or attention, they're possessed by the mission. It's wired into their identity. This isn't a phase. This isn't a trend. This is who they are. Every move they make is aligned with the obsession to become elites. Because the path to domination isn't walked by the interested, it's paved by the obsessed. And they don't hope to win. They refuse to lose. The quicker you understand this, the faster your life changes. No one is coming. Not your family, not your friends, not some miracle connection, not some lucky break. No one is coming to knock on your door and hand you your dream. You are not owed success. You have to build it with your bare hands. The 1% figured this out early. They stopped waiting. They stopped wishing. They stopped wishing. You leave it by standing for something when no one else will. The 1% are not interested in going fast. They're interested in going far. They're not chasing followers. They're creating foundations. Their name doesn't just echo because it was loud. It echoes because it carried weight. That's the kind of life they're building, one that can't be erased. So while others are chasing attention, the elite are chasing eternity. They're crafting a life that speaks louder than any post. outlasts any trend and stands tall long after they're gone. Because in the end, likes fade. Legacy stays. Here's the truth nobody glamorizes. Success is boring. Mastery is repetitive. Greatness looks a lot less like fireworks and a lot more like routine. The 1% know this. That's why they don't chase hype. They master boredom. Because behind every moment of glory, there are thousands of silent reps no one saw, no one clapped for, and no one posted about. You see, the world trains you to be addicted to excitement. Everything's a scroll, a swipe, a rush, constant stimulation, constant noise. But real greatness is quiet. It's not loud or entertaining. It's built in the reps you don't want to do, on the days you don't feel like doing them. That's where champions are made. The average person gets bored and quits. The elite get bored and continue. Because they understand, boredom is the price you pay to become exceptional. The best in the world don't rise because they feel motivated every day. They rise because they do it anyway, especially when the process gets dull. Repetition is where most people break. They do something for a week, maybe a month. Then they want something new. A new workout, a new business, a new routine. But the 1%, they stick, they repeat, they commit. They don't need novelty, they need results. And results don't come from new, they come from depth. See boredom as a test of discipline, patience, and focus. And if you can pass it, you unlock a level of consistency that most people will never know, because most people are slaves to feeling. But the elite, they're loyal to the mission. They show up, bored or not, excited or not, every day. Because that's what the standard demands. If you study any master, athlete, artist, entrepreneur, you'll find a trail of boring habits behind their greatness. The same drills, the same pages, the same fundamentals, done over and over until excellence becomes automatic. That's what mastery is, turning discipline into identity. You don't have to love the boredom, but you do have to respect it, because the repetition is your edge. The ability to show up when others tap out, to endure the mundane, to find rhythm in the routine. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you different. So while others chase the next shiny thing, the elite fall in love with the basics. They lock in when it's dull. They show up when it's silent. They master the part that no one posts about, because that's where the real separation happens. And that's how the 1% stay on top. While the rest keep restarting. Let me know when you're ready for Key Point #8. Or if you'd like a compiled script for your visual wisdom channel. This content is cinematic level. We're building something timeless here. You want to be elite? Then you have to be ruthless about who you let in your circle. Because you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The 1% know this. They don't just surround themselves with anyone. They seek out excellence like it's oxygen. They don't settle for noise. They settle for powerful energy, sharp minds, and relentless ambition. The world is full of distractions disguised as friends, colleagues, even family. People who drain your time, your energy, your focus. Toxic voices who whisper doubt, jealousy, and excuses. The elite don't just tolerate these people. They cut them out. Because their time is precious. And their vision is too big to be watered down by negativity. You see, excellence breeds excellence. When you spend time with winners, you start thinking like winners. You start acting like winners. The conversations change from I can't to a how do we. From a what if be to watch this. Your standards rise without you even realizing it, because excellence raises the bar in everything it touches. The 1% don't just want surface-level success in their circle. They want depth. They want people who challenge their ideas, who push them beyond comfort zones, who hold them accountable when they're slipping. They want constructive pressure, not shallow praise. Because growth doesn't come from easy affirmations, it comes from honest reflection. Surrounding yourself with excellence means being selective. It means saying no more often than yes. It means sacrificing quantity for quality. It's painful sometimes. It means losing people you've known for years if they don't align with your mission. But that's the cost of greatness. You can't run with the slow dogs and expect to win the race. But it's not just about cutting toxic energy. It's about actively seeking out greatness. Mentors who've walked the path, peers who raise your game, rivals who sharpen your hunger. The elite don't wait for greatness to come knocking. They go find it, chase it down, and pull it close. Your environment is your silent partner in success. It either whispers you can, or it shouts, you won't. The 1% build environments that shout victory. Offices that buzz with energy. Relationships that fuel ambition. Daily rituals that reinforce excellence. They architect every part of their life to support the relentless pursuit of their vision. So if you want to dominating your surroundings, don't let mediocre energy dilute your power. Be intentional with your circle. Surround yourself with people who see the world the way you want to see it. Full of possibility, full of hustle, full of unbreakable belief. Because when you do, greatness becomes not just a goal, but an inevitable outcome. Failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher. The 1% understand this deeply. They don't fear failure, they welcome it. Because every failure is a lesson wrapped in pain, a clue disguised as setback. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. And the faster you learn, the faster you dominate. Most people are terrified to fail. They see failure as the end of the road, a sign they're not good enough, not smart enough, not destined to win. So they hesitate, they stall, they play it safe. But the elite know better. They know that failure is just part of the process, a necessary stage on the road to mastery. Failing fast means speed over perfection. That means taking action, making mistakes, and adjusting quickly. It means being okay with being wrong as long as you get closer to the right solution. The 1% don't waste time chasing flawless plans. They move fast, test, adapt, and improve with relentless urgency. This mindset flips the script on fear. When you see failure as feedback, you stop fearing it. You start chasing it because each failure uncovers what doesn't work, what needs fixing, what's holding you back. It's like a map revealing the wrong turn so you can find the right path faster. Failing fast also means shedding pride. The 1% are humble enough to admit mistakes quickly, to pivot without ego, and to learn voraciously. They don't hide errors or make excuses. They take brutal honesty as fuel, not punishment. This humility accelerates growth and keeps them sharp, hungry, and flexible. In contrast, those who fear failure get stuck in analysis paralysis. They wait for perfect conditions that never come. They drown in self-doubt and what-ifs. But the elite push forward knowing that speed beats hesitation every time. They're willing to stumble, fall, and rise again and again. Because each time they rise, they get stronger. The road to domination is littered with failures. But it's not the failures that break you, it's the refusal to learn from them. The 1% harvest wisdom from every fall. And they use that wisdom to build momentum. They understand that failing fast and learning faster is a cycle that powers exponential progress. So if you want to rise, you must reframe failure. Stop fearing the fall. Instead, lean into it. Run toward it with open eyes and a hungry mind. Because the faster you fail and the faster you learn, the quicker you'll move past mediocrity and into the realm of mastery. Vision without execution is just a dream. The 1% know this better than anyone. They don't just plan. They don't just talk. They act every single day. Relentless execution means showing up when others quit. It means doing the work that no one else wants to do, especially when motivation fades, distractions multiply, and the pressure mounts. The world loves to celebrate ideas, big, shiny, exciting ideas. But ideas without execution are meaningless. The elite understand that ideas are just seeds. Execution is the relentless watering, nurturing, and grinding that turns those seeds into a towering forest. Without action, vision withers away, forgotten and unfulfilled. Relentless execution demands discipline. It means waking up before the world is ready, grinding long after others rest. It means pushing through pain, fatigue, and doubt. The 1% don't wait for the perfect moment because they know it doesn't exist. They create the moment with every step they take toward their goal. Execution is not glamorous. It's often repetitive and exhausting. But greatness is built in those quiet moments of persistence. The elite embrace the mundane because they understand it's the compound effect of consistent action that creates breakthroughs. One more call, one more page, one more rep. That's how empires are built. You have to be ruthless with your time and energy. Execution means cutting distractions without apology. It means saying no to things that don't align with your mission, even if they're comfortable or convenient. The 1% guard their focus like a fortress because they know that every wasted minute chips away at their progress. Relentless execution also means accountability. The elite don't blame circumstances or people when things don't go as planned. They own it. They adjust. They keep moving forward. No excuses, no delays. Execution is about being relentless in the face of obstacles, adapting strategies but never abandoning the grind. Momentum is a product of execution. The more you act, the more you create opportunities, clarity, and confidence. Execution feeds itself. It builds unstoppable energy that propels you beyond limits. The 1% harness this momentum, turning small wins into giant leaps, fueling a cycle of success that's impossible to break. At the end of the day, execution separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the bridge between goals and reality. If you want to dominate your life, you must master the art of relentless execution. Because no matter how brilliant your plan without action, it's just a story waiting to be told, not a legacy waiting to be lived. Now, listen closely. This isn't just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. The 1% don't wait for permission. They don't ask for chances. They take what they want because they've mastered their mind, their environment, and their relentless execution. The question is simple. Are you ready to stop playing small? Are you ready to own your life, to master boredom, to fail fast, and to surround yourself with excellence? Because that's the path that leads to dominance, to legacy, to a life that refuses to be average. So stop wishing. Stop waiting. Start doing. Own every second. Fight for every inch. Because greatness doesn't come to those who sit on the sidelines. It comes to the relentless few who show up again and again until they own it all. Your future is forged in this moment. The 1% mindset is not a secret club. It's a choice. Make that choice today and watch how the world bends to the power of your will. Now go and dominate.